And so you've been super unapologetic and bullish on, your efforts in investing and promoting and highlighting the entertainment scene in Atlanta, obviously, from your music business, roots to Kasim working with on the film side and now QC. How would you describe, though, the evolution you've seen in the city since you first arrived to now? And where do you want to see it go?
That's a good question, man. I think that, and I don't want to sound nostalgic, but when we came here, it was a very community-based city. Atlanta's a crown jewel of the South, right?
Mm.
It has had the benefit of 50 plus years of Black leadership.
Hmm.
So folks here are accustomed to seeing people of color in powerful positions, which when you come here, it's not your norm. Right.
Mm.
And so once you acclimate yourself to it, we rented our first building that we rented was from H.J. Russell, who is arguably for a long time the largest Black contractor in the nation. Kasim helped us with that. A lot of the relationships that we made with the organized noises of the world and with the JDs of the world and the Dallas Austins of the world and the Kevin Wales of the world. These are other Black men who look like us that saw that we were very serious about doing what we wanted to do, and were very collaborative in that effort. I don't know if that could have happened anywhere else.
Right.
It definitely happened where we came.
Right.
And so there was a strong sense of community here. And if you toed the line, then there was a degree of acceptance. And so I don't think that could have happened anywhere else. And that allowed us to really bloom in this community. And I saw it happen with not just us, the red zones of the world. I saw so many people come here and flourish because we all, in a very competitive nature, helped each other.
Yep.
If you look at the last 25 years of Atlanta, it's been highly competitive, but highly, highly collaborative, right?
Yeah.
And we plug in all different areas, whether it's community, whether it's in a political space, whether it's in the entrepreneurial space or in the business space. And I haven't seen that synergy anywhere else. And so very proud to have been a part of that growth. Where we stand right now, I still feel a sense of community. Atlanta is a lot more crowded than it used to be in so many ways, from a population standpoint, but also from a social standpoint. I think we have far more attention on us as a city and as a state based on what's happening in the political landscape. And so it doesn't give me the same warmth that it did when I first came here. But I would also attribute that to I was greener. I was a young man.
Right.
Ignorance is bliss.
That's right. Yep.
I think as far as achieving goals, we spoke about Ryan and what he's doing with Greenwood. I don't know if he could do that in another city. You know what I mean?
Right.
Same kind of synergy that he did here. I mean, I think even the story with Kev and P and QC and what they're building, there were several seeds that were planted before they're doing what they're doing that allowed Black men to think this is possible. If you talk to Coach, he'll tell you coming down to our building at noontime, the first time was the first time he saw progressive Black men doing things that he always wanted to do. So,
that was a seed that you planted in him.
And there were several seeds around the city that he could have witnessed that from, the same people that gave us the same energy. I don't know if that same synergy exists here in the same way. I'd like to believe that it does. I see it more. It does. It's just a lot more. It's a more crowded space here. But I do see the same opportunities here as I saw before. Maybe not for me in the music space, because as I alluded to earlier, it's a young man's game. But I do think that we have room to evolve. And not to digress, but Georgia has probably the best tax credit in the universe. Like nothing's even close. We probably have had $4 billion in spend this year in that space, probably 10 to $11 billion in economic impact in the last calendar year. Probably in the last decade, it's probably been 10 to $15 billion of just an ecosystem and utilities put here for filming in the television and movie space, but nothing gets greenlit from here unless it's Tyler. And to me, that's so bass backwards, especially with the emergence of all of these digital platforms. 5 years ago, we had 5 really important SVODs. 5 years from now, we're going to have 100. And so as people who are curators of the culture and who drive these narratives that so many people tap into to tell stories, it seems like a really ripe opportunity to kind of launch IP from Atlanta. I think some of the frustration is, if you think about California has a high tolerance for investing in IP by way of tech and by way of the music and entertainment space. They're used to batting 200 and still having phenomenal success. Here, if it doesn't have 4 walls and some air conditioning blowing through it and some red clay underneath it, as a case study, people are a little bit risk averse to that model. So trying to help introduce how that model could be successful here is part of this next chapter. And I feel more retention in this space than I felt earlier in the music space. And again, ignorance is bliss. Maybe it was just because I was a younger man. Right. There was far less case study for the music industry, but for what we're doing in the film and TV space is a whole lot of case study. And it's a harder mold to break, but I'm committed to it. You know what I mean? And I think that there's other people in the city that are committed to it.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of see where it lands. Maybe you could check back with me in 6 months and I'll be able to tell you, maybe 6 months to a year, and I'll be able to tell you with a definitive position how I feel like you're able to flourish in the city compared to back in the days with greater clarity.
We truly appreciate your support because it helps us fulfill our mission of promoting cultural awareness and personal development. Please click the subscribe button below to help ensure and solidify our mission.